Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the Unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive insights, and we go as guided. And we have some beautiful, beautiful energies, almost from a point of life, from biblical to futuristic. And the reason that is the case is because we're right at, tomorrow is the solstice. The day after that is the Capricorn full moon. And so the solstice energies are they're imbued with the full moon energies. And so this is going to arc out. These energies are going to arc out definitely for the next 3 months, but also into the future. I'm hearing the song, Time keeps on slipping into the future. And our journey on Weekly Wisdom and Insights, since we began on November 17th of 2021, is about the new and receiving the new, how to embody the new, what the new is, and so forth. So this is really, and the new meaning what's come before us and what's been foretold. So we're going to jump in. Welcome, Alicia. And so we're going to jump in because we have such a powerful theme. And it is playing off of these energies, the full moon and the solstice. And of course, the solstice denotes, in the northern hemisphere, it denotes summer. In the southern hemisphere, it denotes the beginning of winter. And thereby, let's take a look at our main energies really quickly. Let's bring them up. So it's a 6 month, so we have double sixes because it's both the month and then the culmination of the actual energies. So this conflict, let go. And it is literally about letting go of any conflict, any blockages, all of those things, and a doubling down on that. It's 19. Today is the 19th, so it's about approach, advance. And the key word, the action is advance. And all of this has been about advance. It's an 8-year all year long, the unite. Now, when you add the 6, the 19, and the 8, it becomes a 33, which is about retreat, disengage. And we're going to work with that number. It's the most powerful master number, 33. It's the most influential master number. And so it's this culmination number about the most influential, bringing everything we need together. And then it's also number 24. When we bring in the 6, the 1, the 9, and the 8, it becomes a 24. And it's about return, go back. And so we're looking at things, revisiting things. And then again, it comes back into the 6. Well, and let's just look at the chart really quickly. This is the astrological influences. On the 20th of June, it's the solstice. On the 21st, it's the full moon. at 1 degrees Capricorn. So the moon is at 1 degrees Capricorn. The sun is at 1 degree Cancer. And the energy, the influences that went along with this is magical occurrences, a fairy tale factor. And the reason, so there's magical occurrences that the solstice and the full moon are going to trigger. And we've been talking about this. And then the fairy tale factor is because there's a T-square with Neptune. Good morning, Deborah. And so you're going to see how what's arcing out really for the next, 3 months, 6 months, they're saying to me 6 years. It could be this, we're in a window, there's divine time and earth time. But in essence, this solstice and this full moon and these energies and the T-square with Neptune are going to trigger magical occurrences and a fairy tale factor. And so they're saying, it's live or Memorex. Is this really happening? Pinch yourself. And that will be the case. You'll experience that. And also you'll have this same effect of, well, is this really happening? Am I making it up? Neptune illusions. And so, because they are heavy hitters, there are big factors playing out here. So now let's take a look at the actual horary chart for the full moon, the Capricorn full moon. And here it is. And so you can see the red triangle, the red T-square. So the moon at the top, the sun is at the bottom. That is the top of the T. And then you see the lines off to the left in red are pointing to Neptune. And Neptune is at that anaretic degree, that 29th degree. So you can see there's great power in this T-square. So just wanted to bring up the chart so you see what's going on, and then we're going to come back to the Sabian symbols, hexagram 33, and some other main factors. And let me just go quickly, and then we're going to come back to our main theme. And I love this image. A powerful portal for change. Again, the key word change, advance. However, and you see the full moon in the image, and you see this open doorway. You see like fairies or fireflies. It's very kind of mystical, magical. And that is, of course, the whole point, because we have magical occurrences, a fairy tale factor, and a powerful portal for change. It's all about change. And the full moon, the light of the full moon, revealing things, culminations, completions, this type of thing. And yet there's a mystery. There's an intrigue with the open door here in this image. What's on the other side? And of course, we've talked about this a lot. What's on the other side of our known reality? And there's such a force right now in the world events, where people are wanting to move backwards. And it's anything but. And there's such, the unseen, they're like, so can you imagine you're standing on the top of a precipice, the top of a mountain, and you've come all this way, and you have fought the good fight, and you have, overcome, and you have persevered, and you have experienced, and you have expanded, only to say to yourself, no, okay, well, I came and I saw it. Okay, well, let's go back. With no interest or intrigue as to what's on the other side of where you've already been, where you've already come from. And so that's the point. There's, on the world stage right now, there is a section, a populace, of peoples that are saying, no, let's go back to where we were. Let's go back to what we've already experienced. Let's go back. And then there's this whole other. And what one hopes and prays is that there will be a preponderance of people, a higher percentage of people that will choose to advance, that will choose to stand at the precipice or at the open door and have the courage and the faith and the interest and the intrigue and the enthusiasm to see what's on the other side. Why? Because you've earned it. You've gotten there. You've made it. And so this is why these magical occurrences of fairy tale factor, a powerful portal for change. And you'll see why we're going to add one extra thing here in a second to that. Welcome, Colleen. And you're going to see, but we're going to jump in really quickly, and I'm going to share my screen and bring up Pam Youngin's North Point Journal, just to kick it off on what's happening in this beautiful image by Christine Engelhardt from Pixabay. And it's so amazing because this is a little bit like Wizard of Oz, you know, the home on the prairie. Look at it, it's on the precipice, this home on the prairie, and yet there's, if you see really closely on the image of on the top of the chimney, appears to be like a canine, a wolf, you know, and this beautiful radiating moon, full moon, with like the glow of yellow from the sun and the mysteriousness of it. And she goes on to say, so this is from Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And she says, the Capricorn full moon, the sun enters empathetic Cancer this Thursday, so tomorrow, June 20th. Our central star's change of signs marks the day of the solstice and the start of a new season. Summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in lands south of the equator. Planetary influences in effect at the turn of the season indicate themes that will unfold over the next 3 months. With the full, and again, over the next 3 months, but yes, there's an expanded period here. With the full moon peaking just a day after the solstice, its energies are strongly active at the solstice and therefore will impact our collective experience now through the September equinox. The full moon peaks on Friday, June 21st, when the moon is at 1 degree, 7 arc minutes Capricorn, and the sun is exactly opposite at the same degree of Cancer. This lunation invites us to find a healthy balance between the qualities associated with the two opposing signs, between objectivity and subjectivity. So remember with Neptune and the T-square, you know, is this really happening versus is this an illusion? Between capability and vulnerability, between our outer accomplishment and our inner nourishment, between fulfilling a sense of purpose and meeting our emotional needs. She talks, Pam Youngins goes on to talk about the T-square effect. At the time of the lunation, the sun and the moon are both closely square idealistic Neptune in the last degree, that anaretic degree of Pisces. The three planets create a T-square formation, where the luminaries are positioned at the ends of the crossbar at the top of the letter T, like I just shown you on the chart. The sun and the moon are at the top, and Neptune is located at the base of the stem. A T-square configuration usually indicates tension and frustrations, often due to a lack of objectivity that requires us to grow in some way. With sensitizing Neptune at the very important apex position of the T-square, we will want to be mindful of any ways in which we tend to withdraw from stressful situations instead of facing them directly. So this is not a time to bury your head in the sand. Do not be the ostrich that buries your head in the sand. This is about, as she's just said, objectivity, subjectivity, capability, vulnerability, accomplishment, nourishment. It's all about, you know, eyes wide open. Heads can be in the clouds, you know, we can have our head in the clouds. However, with discernment, with awareness, with consciousness, so that we can discern correctly, is this real or is this illusion? She says, and since Neptune is in hard aspect, can create a certain amount of confusion or fog, it will be important to gain clarity on our emotions, Cancer, and on our goals, Capricorn, before taking action. So again, this is to be level-headed. We can have our head in the clouds, but be level-headed about it. Be aware. And don't deny things just because it's otherworldly or surreal. Take them in, appreciate them, value them. There's something new on the other side of the door. However, don't also, you know, rose-colored glasses. Don't fool yourself or others needlessly. Another challenge of this T-square full moon is not to lapse into wishful thinking or to wait to be rescued when taking responsibility as a more appropriate response. At the same time, we will want to put as much time and attention into self-care as we do into taking charge of the situation. So this is about nourishment. This is about care, consideration. However, the real big energies at play, a powerful portal for change. This isn't just your everyday, every year, every season solstice / full moon. The two are a day apart, and there's magical occurrences and a fairy tale effect about it. And this need to advance, to release these energies. And I'm stringing this out just a little because I want to set the tone for everything. So this is from Lena Stevens with the Power Path. And she says, this year, the mid-year solstice and the full moon are very close together, creating a powerful portal for change, manifestation, healing, and expansion into true purpose and great support for your next step in life, whatever that may be. So this is setting up this huge portal, this powerful portal for change, manifestation, healing, expansion into true purpose and great support for your next life step, whatever that may be. And there's a beautiful quote coming up that's all about taking, the power in the small steps. If you are in the northern hemisphere, the expansion is external. We're going to feel it externally in the northern hemisphere. And if you were in the southern hemisphere, the focus is internal because of the summer, the winter, the fire, and the water, the light. For both, there is a theme of seeking clarity, balance, support, and inspiration about the path forward. See, it's about advance. It's all about the path forward. A solstice should be celebrated by honoring the past experiences that have contributed to your growth, leading to your presence at this time. By honoring the past, you acknowledge your lessons, your wisdom, and the choices you have for the future. See, it's about owning where we've been. It's about acknowledging it, learning it, utilizing discernment, moving forward. It is not about going back, trying to hold on to the past, being afraid of the unknown, on what's the other side of this peak experience, of this mountain. And to use, I love this, her talking about to use your lessons, your wisdom, and your choices. There are no mistakes. There's only choices. And so it's, what were our choices? How do we learn from them? How did they serve us? And how do we ensure that those choices and the wisdom that we gain from all of it sets the tone for our future? The Unseen is just reminding me, Shirley MacLaine has this beautiful, when she first embarked on her spiritual journey, she said, I had this profound realization that if I've been here before, meaning earthly experiences, incarnations. So if I've been here before, and I'll most likely be here again, her soul will be here again, what I do in this lifetime matters. And it's such a powerful truth. And so this is applicable as we move forward. Lena Stevens from the Power Path goes on to say, this solstice is supported by the full moon in Capricorn that invites us to step into a larger container of expansion, a larger container of expression that also comes with greater responsibility. It is a good time for a bid It is a good time for a bid for power that you have been contemplating for some time. So expansion, taking the reins, leveling up, stepping into uncomfortable situations before, and how by doing so, it does come with greater responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Well, but it's because it's expanding us. This could be around relationships, projects, life choices, internal or external change, or simply working with manifesting some of your more important intentions. So it doesn't matter whether it's a job or a business or a relationship or some form of interaction. The point of this full moon and this solstice is about expansion, greater responsibility. This bid for power, meaning not over others, but bid for power within ourselves, empowerment. That we level up and that we're not only okay to do it, we welcome it. We step up. Okay, soul, what did I say I would do? Okay, now let's meet the moment. Let's rise to the occasion. Let's walk through the open door. Let's see what's on the other side of this journey that I've been traveling. It is also a good time to revisit your current responsibilities and restructure them based on new clarity and wisdom that shows you what is in yours and shows you what is yours and what is not. So it's like this is also this opportunity to realize, to take stock and say, how do I want to recreate myself, my journey? What's on offer for me? It's not about status quo. It's not about going back. It's not about doing the same old thing over and over and over again. It's anything but. She goes on to say, there may be many things on your plate and you may be feeling overwhelmed and it's something to process. But just remember that Spirit never hands you more than you can handle. Focus either on what you are learning or how these times are stretching your container and making you more powerful. Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided empowerment. That is what we're looking for here. It's all about empowerment. It is always potent and inspiring to think of what you are leaving behind in order to make space for growth, expansion, and manifesting something better for yourself. The emptying of the vessel. And it's not to be afraid of emptying the vessel or letting go of a person, a place, a thing, a relationship, a way of being, a story, a script. It's purposeful. It's empowering to let them go and not to be afraid of it. Yes, it can be scary, but the point is, how empowering is it? Just going to bring up our main theme image, a powerful portal for change. Well, how empowering is it to walk through that portal, that open doorway of change? And it's change in capital letters, because remember, it's about tower moments. Here's the image of the tower again. And the tower, hexagram 51, the tower, it's divine and neutral. So no matter how the tower, the movements, the things that are holding us back or that are helping us to advance, tower moments are positive. They're not a negative. It just, you'll experience it depending on how in the flow you are with everything. And thereby, but we're invoking tower moments. We're invoking advance. And with the High Priestess, she is the keeper of secrets, the keeper of divine wisdom. And she's meting it out. And she reveals. She reveals what has not been seen yet or seen before. So now let's move into, because this is where we tie the main theme, a powerful portal for change. And then the unseen said, alas, a new dispensation. So they put this together, a powerful portal for change, alas, a new dispensation. And I had to look this up because I wanted to see what exactly is the unseen speaking to when they're referencing, alas, a new dispensation. So dispensationalism is a theological framework that views history as divided into distinct periods in which God interacts with humankind in specific ways. Each of these periods is known as a dispensation. The defining characteristics of a dispensation are the distinct governing relationship in which God interacts with mankind during that period, and the resulting responsibility placed upon mankind in that period. Evangelical Christians generally agree that there are distinct periods in, quote, God's plan for humanity. Dispensationalist theologians tend to hold, quote, a particular view of the parallel but separate roles and destinies of Israel and the Christian church, with, quote, a careful separation between what is addressed to Israel and what is addressed to the church. What is addressed to Israel is earthy. So Capricorn full moon. Capricorn is an earth sign, earthy in character, and is to be interpreted literally. This view is distinct from covenant theology, which holds that rather than having separate plans, God has one people of God throughout redemptive history, called Israel under the Old Testament and called the church under the New. So dispensation from a biblical narrative is about these divisions. And this is from Wikipedia. So typical divisions. The number of dispensations may vary from 3 to 8, but the typical 7 dispensation scheme is as follows. The first one is innocence. Adam under probation prior to the fall of man. Ends with expulsion from the Garden of Eden in Genesis 3. Some refer to this period as the Adamic period, or the dispensation of the Adamic covenant or Adamic law. The next one is conscience. From the fall to the great flood, ends with the worldwide deluge. The next dispensation, human or civil government. After the great flood, humanity is responsible to enact the death penalty and has the authority to govern. It ends with the dispensation at the Tower of Babel. Some use the term Noahide law in reference to this period of dispensation. Then we come into the dispensation promise or patriarchal rule. From Abraham to Moses, ends with the refusal to enter Canaan and the 40 years of unbelief in the wilderness. Some use the terms Abrahamic law or Abrahamic covenant in reference to this period of dispensation. The next one is law, from Moses to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Ends with the scattering of Israel in AD 70. Some use the term Mosaic law in reference to this period of dispensation. The next one is known as grace, from the cross to the rapture of the church, seen by some groups as being present in 1 Thessalonians and the book of Revelation. The rapture is followed by the wrath of God constituting the Great Tribulation. Some use the term age of grace or the church age for this dispensation. And the last one in the seven schemes, if you will, is the millennial kingdom, a literal 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth, Revelation 20, centered in Jerusalem, ending with God's judgment on the final rebellion. So this word, and it's one of our key words, dispensation. So just bringing this up for a second. So here they're saying a powerful portal for change. Alas, a new dispensation. So what this is saying to us, what this was saying to me is somewhere between the dispensation of grace, or the finalization of that, and the millennial kingdom, this grace dispensation and this millennial kingdom dispensation. We're out a powerful portal for change, because there is, alas, a new dispensation, a new way in which God, higher power, source, interacts with humankind, creation. And that's what makes this solstice and Capricorn full moon and their proximity together and the arcing out of what's to come unique, more powerful. And yes, for 2,000 plus years, there has been the book of Revelation, this rapture, this great tribulation, the millennial period. This has been talked about for 2,000 plus years. The unseen is bringing it home. And number 4 that goes with this, and we'll backtrack a second, but what goes with this is they said I heard this phrase, surrealist platitudes. And I was like, okay. So, surrealism. Surrealism aims to revolutionize human experience. So this dispensation, a time, a change in the way we interact with God and God interacts with us, higher power. Surrealism aims to revolutionize human experience. It balances a rational vision of life with one that asserts the power of the unconscious and dreams. The movement's artists find magical occurrences, a fairy tale effect. The movement's artists find magic and strange beauty in the unexpected and the uncanny, the disregarded and the unconventional. Platitude, a remark or statement, especially one with a moral content that has been used too often to be interesting or thoughtful. So the unseen, it's number 4, it's foundational, going with our main theme. Surrealist platitudes, no longer, no more. This, a remark or statement, especially one with a moral content that has been used too often to be interesting or thoughtful, meaning it's lost its power, it's lost its effect. And they're saying, the unseen is saying to us, surrealist platitudes, no longer, no more. And then they said, it's time, ... So there's a powerful message here about change, advance, walking, crossing the threshold, walking, having the courage and the joy and the inspiration for this powerful portal of change, to walk through it, to find what's on the other side. Because come what may, it's number 3. So you see how these are lining up. Number 3, representing the Trinity. And they said, no matter what, come what may. And then the word advance. So it's coming. It's a fait accompli. There is no going back. So for all who are listening, whether we're all individuals, however, as you also then fit into your humanity and society and your institutions and governments and businesses and corporations and everything, no matter what, come what may, advance. Because it's time. Surrealist platitudes no longer, no more. It's time. And there's such a powerful message. And again, this will arc out. So we're in mid-June, so July, August, September. I mean, even into, October, November, December, and look at this change. Look at a massive election in the US, because there's more on the line. Are we going forward or are we going back? And of course, we're not going back. That's an illusion. Neptune, that's an illusion. It's a fallacy. It's a falsehood. It's a falsehood. Because very clearly the unseen is saying it's a powerful portal for change, a new dispensation. Surrealist platitudes no longer, no more. It's time. And so we have this beautiful advance. And the first thing the unseen said for this, with all of these energies, was, I believe I can fly, the song by R. Kelly. And verse 2 says, see, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes silence can seem so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve, but first I know it starts inside of me. And the chorus line, of course, is, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day, spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Powerful message here of levitation, of levitation, levity, lightness, rainbow light body. What's running through that open door. And this point of let me just bring up our mantra because it fits the image in the lyrics. Our mantra is I am ready. And you see the individual, it's an image of a divine feminine on a magic carpet, a levitating carpet, flying through, through the air, the sands below her, the desert sands below her, beautiful blue sky above. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Our soul knows. Our soul knows this is possible. Our soul knows this is a done deal. Our soul knows. Each individual soul knows. And so, and Colleen is saying Putin and Kim in North Korea aligning. And yeah, because again, there's this point of they are looking to maintain the status quo, maintain their power, maintain their control, maintain this illusion, maintain the patriarchal, divine masculine era and rule. And yet, what historical wisdom has taught us is the arc of destiny moves forward. It is about the Aquarian age, matriarchal rule, harmony, equality, everyone has a seat at the table, and how that in and of itself is powerful change. It has always been an aspect. It has always been a part of us. It has always been on offer. However, now it comes to the forefront. It takes the lead. It comes forward, and the past recedes. And so, and yet our soul knows. Our souls know this truth, which is why, again, we're kind of being, there's the unseen said back with the great American eclipse of 2017, August of 2017, we're drawing a line in the sand. You're being seen, you're being counted. And there is this aspect of, again, what percentage of 8 billion people, and you see a lot of what they're calling nationalism, this identity that you're, and think about how small that is. Nationalism, this point of like, only that which looks like me and speaks like me and talks like me and is me, I am. Well, that's like a pinprick on the end of, the size of a pinprick, as opposed to, I believe I can touch the sky. I am ready. Our mantra, this image of, this is who we are. We can fly through the sky. And I know this sounds fantastical and magical and otherworldly. However, it doesn't make it any less true. Just because we've been grounded, we've been in this, and we're having, quote, an earthly experience, doesn't mean that we should negate our divinity, our divine nature, our divine capabilities. Because I'm going to bring up our first quote. I'm going to take it out of sequence, but the image is so powerful. Purple denotes royalty, so divinity, royalty. And it's an image of DNA. And it says, things do not remain forever in their place. The whole of creation, the cosmos, Earth, in human beings, we're all evolving, advancing. And it has been recently, in the last 5 years, I believe, maybe in the last decade, but it's in the last 5 years, this God strand of the DNA, or this 13th element, I believe. So something can awaken within us. Things do not remain forever in their place. And this image of the human DNA, which means there's something within us that will be triggered, activated, that will advance us, because it's all about right time. No matter what, come what may, advance. In concert with that, the second thing the unseen said was, it's literally the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So what I heard was, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. And then in quotes very loudly, they said, so can I. So that's the whole moral of that beautiful song from The Wizard of Oz and Dorothy and so forth, is somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. And in the lyrics, it's, why can't I? What the unseen is saying to us is, so can I. That we will absolutely be able to, in essence, and we do this in our dream state and everything, but somehow again, the solstice, the Capricorn full moon, the T-square, Neptune involved, and we said, oh, you can have your heads earlier in the show. You can have your head in the clouds, daydreaming, being somewhere over the rainbow. It's just to do so with awareness, consciousness, discernment, so that we recognize what's real and what's an illusion. Powerful. It's a powerful show. I was traveling, I got back late, and I was like deciding whether I was doing the show or not. And I'm so glad that we've come together, because this is exactly, this moment doesn't come again. It won't come again. And thereby, the message is so important for all of us to recognize a powerful portal for change is present here. And alas, a new dispensation. There's a new way that we're going to be interacting as above, so below, that we're going to be in reciprocity with one another. And also, it goes to our second key word, and that is symbiosis. And symbiosis, a cooperative relationship as between two persons or groups, interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantage of both. So this is speaking to powerfully Aquarian age, divine feminine, harmony, equality, balance, symbiosis. It's also a mutually beneficial relationship between different people or groups. So this is not about suppression, oppression, the past, patriarchal. It's about symbiosis, cooperative relationships between individuals and groups, between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantage of both. So it's all about it's the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. It's all about how both within us, individuals, with us and the unseen, with us and Mother Earth, it's about the awareness, the consciousness that we are going higher. So hexagram 33, and it's about retreat, but retreat means to stand back enough, take your face off. When we're pressed up against the glass, we can't see. When we're too in it, when we're in the chaos and the storm, we can't see it. We're getting bashed about. But when we stand in the eye of the storm, the eye of the hurricane, it's stillness. So the action for retreat is disengage, the hidden influence, coming to meet, encounter. We're coming to meet our higher selves. We're coming to meet the unseen. We're coming to meet what's on the other side of the doorway, of this apex moment. And its underlining cause is approach, 19, approach, advance. And so this is from Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com. And it says, this was our first quote, things do not remain forever in their place. Therefore follows retreat. Retreat means withdrawing, and when difficulty arises, you can observe how retreating from a situation cultivates power. This isn't giving up. It's not failing or failure. It brings about power. It cultivates power and empowerment. This is movement in stillness and allows you to conserve energy and fortify strength. Because again, the unseen is saying to us, no matter what, come what may. Advance. This is happening. Fait accompli. So this is a movement in stillness and allows you to conserve energy and fortify strength. Content in your power, you have no need to engage the obstacle. So we don't need to engage the obstacle, because when we apply our power, it doesn't mean to not show up, like in America. It doesn't mean to not show up and vote, to not align yourself with advance and with matriarchal Aquarian rule and energies and themes and harmony and equality and goodness and balance. Yes. However, that's what it means. Align yourself and your energies with all of those higher octaves, all of those higher equalities, higher powers. That's where you're placing your energy. Yes, you go and vote. However, you don't have to engage or place your energies battling the obstacle. That is irrelevant. You don't need to do it in that way. In martial arts, retreat means success. In what is small, perseverance furthers. This is not a time for grand demonstrations of power, but requires care and an appreciation of your integrity. What's at your center? You go back to what's at your center. And what's at your center? Your soul source connection. That's what's at your center. And it requires care and an appreciation of your integrity. I want to skip this part. Because when we do that, when we align with our integrity, with what's at our center, we meet with no resistance, and therefore we do not contend. We're not pushing up against the obstacle. This captures how when you open, all obstacles disappear. When you are correct, there is nothing that needs to be defended. And this isn't an arrogant ego mind personality when you're right. This is from the soul, you know what's right. We all know. And it's just to what degree do we align with it and listen and follow accordingly. In martial arts, one is taught economy of movement. By holding to a specific position, the opponent is kept at a disadvantage, enabling one to maximize strength. In this case, you hold to your character or integrity. As a principle of movement and stillness, Tun is the image of purposeful withdrawal. Retreat does not mean giving up, but allows you to further strengthen your ability to remain open while firm in your character. It's about knowing. This is about knowing that we are advancing, come what may. Knowing I believe I can fly, that I can touch the sky. Knowing that somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, so can I. It is in our DNA, that God strand, that 13th strand, that says, of course this is possible. Why? Look at the Great Pyramids. We've talked about this. Look at the Great Pyramids. Look at these other ancient world wonders that to this date, the most advanced civilizations and humankind, quote unquote, still cannot explain it nor replicate it. And yet it is present. It is physically, tangibly present for us, 8 billion souls, humanity, to bear witness to recognize that something far greater occurred before this moment in time, before this incarnation. So if it happened before, it can happen again. And it will happen again. We're going back to where we began, an octave higher. It will happen again, an octave higher. We don't go back to, even in that instance, in that example, we don't go back to what it was. We've already been there, done that. What's next? What is on the other side of this doorway? And I've got the Lady Jacqueline in my head and ground it, bring it home. It doesn't matter. It's like, how do we approach something, quote unquote, old, existing, or in a new manner, in a new way? So that our experience, we expand our vessel, we advance, we see things with new eyes, or with magical occurrences and fairy tale-esque adventure, because it's new. Coming up against any barrier, engaging the obstacle always gives it more power. So our focus shouldn't be in what we're against. Our focus, our energy should be in what we're for. The wise meet all opposition with a quiet mind and open heart. Then all opposition naturally disappears. Without doing anything, nothing is undone. When you do something, you may create action that can trigger endless reaction that may need to be undone. This is the great power of not doing. So this retreat, this not doing, so that eyes wide open, consciously aware and aligned, we have greater discernment, which means we have greater empowerment, greater power. Purposeful withdrawal can disconnect you from a charged situation that might deplete you of your integrity. And this is our second quote. Perseverance in small matters brings success. This is about taking the next step. A dear friend and colleague met a gentleman who had been in the Holocaust. He was a young boy at the time. And my dear friend said to him, I can't imagine. How did you do it? And his reply to her was, I just knew I had to keep taking the next step. So perseverance in small matters brings success. It's Wallace D. Wattles, a quote by Wallace D. Wattles, small acts in great ways. It is about just taking what's the next step. We've talked about this before, about the analogy of, saving the world. That can be overwhelming. However, when we break it down to, okay, soul, what did I say I would do? The unseen. What's the next step? What step am I to take? Perseverance in small matters brings success. In the small matters that take place within, integrity fortifies character so that your nature remains incorruptible. It's our mantra. I am ready. And look what we're capable of. Look what you're capable of. You're capable of flying on a magic carpet, on levitating. It is thought very strongly that this is how the pyramids, the great pyramids, these bases, I believe it's to to Apollo, where they revered Apollo. Massive, ton foundation stones in both examples that are so closely laid that you can't slide a piece of paper through them. And yet we can't replicate it to this day. It's not possible. There's no crane, there's no equipment, modern day equipment that can replicate that. But there's all kinds of scientific theory that says that somehow through sound, tone, things can levitate. Things can be that are massively heavy can be lifted and moved into place effortlessly. Observing nature, you may sometimes feel that things are not what they should be. Yet eventually you recognize how nature too turns back to regenerate, rather than always displaying obvious forward growth. Even while you are open to growth, turning back is also a pathway forward. The sheerest whiteness seems sullied. The great vessel takes long to complete. The great vessel holds your tay as you travel through the river of life. So hexagram 33, this retreat, disengage. It's an awakening. It's a call to action for us to recognize where we're placing our energies. Is it what we're against or what we're for? Place your power, your focus, your energy, your alignment with what you are for, where you are going. And again, in the analogy of voting, cast your ballot, and then continue to move, because that too is an act of what you're for. And then continue to move forward. With the Sabian symbols, we're going to just cover we're going to do this in the Reader's Digest version, as they would say. So with this full moon, Capricorn full moon, and the solstice, one day apart, and I'm just bringing up the actual horary chart for the Capricorn full moon and the solstice. You see it on your screen with this T-square. The sun at the bottom of the chart, a man on a magic carpet hovers over a large area of land. You honestly can't make this stuff up if you tried. Its keynote, the ability to expand one's consciousness by stabilizing one's point of view at a higher level. See, it's not about being down in the manure, in the swamp, in the muck of it, or being thrown about in the perimeter of a storm. It's to remain at a higher level of consciousness. This second stage symbol establishes a contrast between a stabilizing new allegiance, which limits the will, and the capacity to envision life from a wider perspective, thanks to which many lives are seen to converge upon the raised consciousness. This, in the analogy, 8 billion souls on the planet, and that God willing, the unseen higher source, there's a greater percentage in that category that envision life in a higher octave, and that they converge upon this raised consciousness, meaning these many lives, these many souls converge and come together to deliver us over the hump, to deliver us to what came before. What's before us, what came before, and what's before us. At this stage, one realizes that by giving up an indefinite search for two-dimensional extension, one gains elevation into the third dimension of consciousness. Gaining, expanding, advancing. This is the symbol for the sun. For the moon, 3 rose windows in a Gothic church, one damaged by war. The keynote is the necessary realization by any individual making a violent use of collective power that it will lead to the inevitable destruction of some of the values ensuring group integration. So this is, yes, as Colleen's saying, to deliver us from evil. Yes, this symbol for the moon, this Capricorn full moon, it's saying that when we utilize collective power in a negative way, in a shadow aspect way, inevitable destruction of some of the values ensuring group integration occurs. This second stage symbol contrasts with the preceding one because it opposes the power to destroy to the power to build. The capital, like what we capital as in currency, the capital of group energies is partially squandered in armaments and death. This speaks to waste is the opposite of group integration. So here the moon is highlighting the waste because what's on offer? The power to build. Group energies coming together, unite. And when we don't do that, we create waste. We waste our potential. We waste possibilities. We waste resources of Mother Earth. We waste things. And so remember these, the sun, the moon, and Neptune are creating this T-square. The Sabian symbol, this is from Dane Rudyer and Astrological Mandala, all of these Sabian symbols. For Neptune, a majestic rock formation resembling a face is idealized by a boy who takes it as his ideal of greatness, and as he grows up begins to look like it. For any of you who have ever witnessed faces in rocks, faces in clouds, faces in nature, faces on trees, and it says this is the last stage of the last scene. So this is Pisces 30. It completes the astrological wheel before we commence Aries 1. So this is the last scene of the great ritual play of cyclic transformations. It brings to us a realization of the power of archetypes as factors conditioning life processes. The power to produce and guide. In a biological sense, it is the power latent in all seeds, the power to produce and guide the growth of the future plant. So something within the plant, something within us, God strand, DNA, 13th strand that has yet to be activated. A most fitting symbol for the last phase of the cyclic process. Within the end of the cycle, the seed of a new beginning exists in potency, in power. Alas, a new dispensation, a powerful portal for change. Unless the entire cycle has proven to be a failure. Well, we know by experience that the entire cycle, this current cycle, the previous cycle, hasn't been a complete failure. There are many great things that have come from it. And there are many things that we're being shown that aren't great, that didn't work. And thereby, we have this opportunity for advance, for change. So with all of that, because I'm mindful of the time, and I will post the remaining Sabian symbols and everything, it's number 5 from the unseen, and 5 denotes change, and it was that single word, change, all in capital letters. The unseen, the God, Allah, Buddha, all that is screaming at us, or screaming to us, for us. Change course, change direction, change your ego, mind, personality, and thoughts. Change. Because somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. So can I. A powerful portal for change. Alas, a new dispensation. No matter what, come what may, we are moving forward. We are advancing. And this surrealist platitudes, no longer, no more. It's time. And surrealist, again, it's a combination of what is real, literally real, and yet what's magical, what's from the unseen, and how they marry these together. And they can be married together. It's not one over the other, but it's also, because that denotes extreme, and it's also not only being in what's tangible or real, to the exclusion and detriment of the unseen, and also then shadow aspect, not living in illusion and delusion. It's living in the higher octave of what's possible, of what came before us. So what's before us and what came before us. Because we are going back to where we began, an octave higher, and these energies for this moment, and again, a moment, divine time and earth time, and they're different. And yet there's the gap, what the unseen is saying is the gap between that division, divine time and earth time, and is narrowing, closing, coming together as one, which means heaven on earth, living a heavenly experience on earth, a divine experience on earth. They'll merge, they'll come together. Literally. And we will then literally have a higher octave perspective, ability for change, to change. And there will be those who do not take the opportunity to advance, to change. And yet, the irony in that statement is, and yet they do. It will just be different than, I want to say than ours, than others. Because even if you're not advancing and elevating forward, you're choosing to go backwards. You're choosing not to advance to the higher possibilities. You are still advancing and changing. It's just in a different way. It's a different the way I would give it to you biblically is, the eternalness, what goes on forever. There's a new order and what goes on forever. And then there's a lake of fire, what gets transmuted. Because it simply won't go in the new. It can't go in the new. And so if you're unwilling to change, at some point in time, alas, a new dispensation, that dispensation of grace, that grace or millennial, we're somewhere right between, we're at the end of grace and at the beginning of millennial, we're right there. Alas, a new dispensation is at hand. So from the depths of my being and my soul, I would implore you, everyone who's listening and who receives this, and as you share it, I implore you to change, to advance, because we're drawing a line in the sand. You're being seen, you're being counted. And up until that last moment, that last breath of the old order, you are able to change. You are able to choose to advance into eternity, if you will. Because again, heaven on earth, it lives forever. It goes on forever. The old, anything shy of that, doesn't go on and live forever. It goes to the lake of fire and it gets transmuted. Change, choice, deliverance. So, cannot wait to see. As Colleen said, I'm ready for change. I am ready for change. And keep saying that. That may be your mantra. I am ready. I am ready for change. Choose to advance. The energies, the moment, the timing, the messages from the unseen could not be more loud, more purposeful, and more beneficial and helpful. You need only choose it. So until next week, we will leave you there with all of that to ponder, because it's big, it's weighty, it's intriguing, and it's so exciting. So can't wait to see you all on the other side. Until then, be well. We'll see you next week.